Watsal, good morning, good afternoon. How are you?
Yeah, it's almost a good afternoon now. Good morning to you. I know it's morning for you. So how are you? I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. For our listeners, I am sat in Nottingham, and it's 8:30 in the morning. So can you tell everyone where you are and what time it is, please?
Yeah. Hello everyone. My name is Vatsal Agrawal, and right now I'm here in Bhilai. It's a city in central India in Chhattisgarh state, and right now it's 1:10 p.m. in India here.
Before we kind of get on to how we met, and because it's been 6 years now.
6 years. Yes, yes.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Time flies, right?
I know, right? So you're an Indian musician. Do you play traditional Indian instruments as well as Western styles of music as well, and
Yeah.
Western
So
instruments?
yeah. So I'm a multi-instrumentalist. I'll say. My primary instrument being guitar. Um,
Yeah,
I play piano, and so my qualifications in guitar, piano, and Western vocals. When it comes to Indian instruments, I learned a lot of things actually, and then later on I settled into Western music. But I play sitar, so
yeah,
I have a diploma in sitar, and sitar is the Indian instrument made
yeah,
famous
yeah.
by
Cool.
Pandit Ravi Shankar. Yeah? So I play sitar. I learned Indian classical vocals also for sometimes few years, long time ago. But yeah, but I'll say my primary instrument is guitar, piano, and vocals. Yeah.
Okay. And what was your influence for how did you get into music? Like how does somebody in India be influenced by Western music and think, okay, it's going to be the guitar? And by the way, before we get into that, you are an exceptional guitar player.
Thank
So
you so much.
so where's the yeah, how does all that happen? What's your journey?
Yeah, thank you so much. It means a lot coming from you because I know what you do, and we have just worked on something, and that was really inspiring. We'll get into that also, but yeah, thank you. So it's a long, not that long actually. It's a crazy, funny, interesting story. I'll say. Music was never the game for me in the beginning. I was an like academic kind of student. I went
Mm,
on to an engineering college and everything. I enrolled into actually. I did properly go to engineering college for some time, actually for all the
yeah,
4 years. But actually, that helped me realize that I want to pursue music. So what happened was like just after the school years, I just
yeah,
joined a local institute, played little bit, but that was never a serious thing that time. It was just for fun, just to show up. Like most people start, I think. Guitar is a fancy instrument. People like to rock it out, and just to like kind of an impressive thing, not like an art form or anything serious like that. So
yeah.
I did join a local music class here. Went for a few lessons, but it didn't go anywhere. And then I stopped, and then I started again, and then it stopped again. Again, nothing serious. So it was like on and off kind of thing.
Hmm.
Then in my second year of college, I had some health issues, and so I had to go through some surgeries and all. And during that time, I had a lot of time because I was on bed rest and all, and I had nothing to do. Internet was a thing, but still, it was not as popular as it is right now. So no time to waste there on social media or like that. Um,
Yes. Yeah.
and no Netflix kind of thing. So that time, I just picked up my guitar and started playing with more interest that time. And that time, I don't know, I started to catch everything a lot faster than what I was doing, with the teacher that time. So
Mm,
just figuring out the chords myself, just finding some material on net, finding some books here and there and like that. And then when I rejoined my engineering college, not the music college, engineering college, when I think about it, it feels like everything, I've been very lucky, I think. Meeting right people at the right time, going to the right engineering college for music. It's funny when I say that because it was a Christian college. The name itself is a Christian College of Engineering. And uh, in my opinion, the best thing about the Christian culture is their exposure to music, because they go to church and they play music every Sunday. So almost everybody in my college who was, in the band section of the college, they were so much better than me that time, better than
Mm.
me. So that those people, my band members and all, they inspired me so much. They didn't literally inspire me that you should do that and all, but because I was literally, the most beginner guy there. So
Yeah.
I could learn from everyone, seeing someone play. So that was a very inspiring atmosphere. So I joined a band in college. Everybody was better than me, and then I kept learning, and then again I joined some classes, stopped because I was not getting what I wanted. Because
Yeah.
I kind of knew what I wanted. I'll come back to that, how I knew and all. But so going through that, that made me practice a lot during my third year of college, fourth year of college. I was practicing some days around for like 10 hours. So
Wow.
I started late, but I think I compensated that by practicing really with more intense, in the later years. Those 2 3
Yeah.
years of practice, that has been with me till now, because once you find that zone, once you get that technicality or speed or whatever you call it, it stays
Hmm.
with you, even if you're not doing everything with that intensity anymore. So during that time, I did so much that I was just skipping my engineering work at all, and then I started teaching a little bit. I was of course into performance, but then I started teaching. We can go into that later. But during when I started teaching, I realized this is what I'm willing to spend more and more time on.
Yeah.
And it started with one student when in my paying guest, like a very small room. It's a concept called paying guest in India, like where students live in. Um, it's like a hostel kind of thing, but it's not technically a hostel. So there are more people who live there. So it's like a hostel, you can say. But so they have started teaching with one student, and around my fourth year, it was fourth year of college, then I decided that I will be pursuing music, not this engineering field.
So what what year would this have been? You're convalescing. You're learning how to play the guitar at at a crazy rate.
Yeah.
Um, when was that, and how long was that period?
Hmm. So I think I picked up guitar in 2009, I think. Yeah. But again,
Yeah.
as I said,
Okay.
that was not serious. I went to college 2008, I think. 8, yeah. Went on to pursue engineering, joined the college in 2010. Surgery
Yeah.
happened. My surgery happened in 2011. And that's when I started learning on my own properly. I've been to different classes on and off, but didn't get what I wanted. And that phase of serious practice happened once I was recovered. And
Yeah.
my mom, who's been the driving force behind everything, knowingly, unknowingly, giving me whatever I wanted because she believed in me that he will do something with that maybe.
Yeah.
So she brought me the electric guitar. I still have that in my institute. My students play that. I have a GRX 90 model, red one. Uh, that guitar changed everything.
Brilliant.
And that year that you said, um, the whole package that I bought that time, 30,000 rupees was crazy money that time for me. I was a student, and my mom was kind of betting on me that of course we were not aware that I'm going to do music as career, but it was kind of against everybody that why are you spending, because nobody is a musician in my family. I'm the first one. So we bought that guitar and that changed because that is the time when just I told you I was learning on my own. So I used to cover mainly Bollywood songs that time. Listen to Hindi music, just try to figure out chords and melody on my own that time. There was
Yeah.
YouTube, good established presence of lessons and everything that time, but I was still mostly learning everything by ear. But just while exploring something, I came across a song, Tears in Heaven. Yeah,
Clapton.
Clapton. Clapton
Yeah.
is my first influence into, if I talk about real guitar playing.
Hmm.
Eric Clapton. Tears in Heaven changed everything for me. I know it's not a rock song. I was talking about electric guitar earlier. This is my habit of going deep into anything that I read. If I watch a movie, after movie, I'm gonna search about that movie, the cast, the director, the story, the plot, the reception, everything. So
Yeah.
same thing I did then. I heard the song. It's such a beautiful song. Then I read about it because the song has the feel. Even if you don't know the story, the song has the feel that his
Mm.
son died falling from a building's 11th floor, and then he wrote this song, for him, kind of that there'll be
Yeah.
no more tears in heaven, and uh, and that shook me. Its music is not just the sound and all like that, because this was my first encounter, I'll say, with the serious music uh, that affected me in positive way, that moved me, I'll say. And
Mm.
then I started exploring more music by Clapton. Wonderful Tonight, every song has a story.
Oh yeah.
One, yeah, Eric Clapton is going to what I think Paul McCartney's party, and going with Patty Boyd, his then wife, and making song for A Wonderful Night. So it's just a little location that turns out to a global hit. Wonderful
Yeah.
Tonight. Listen to Layla, George Harrison's wife, Patty, came to Eric and married him. Wow, right? The power of music. Of course, not in a ideal noble way, but the power of music, right?
Yeah.
These things just moved me, and but yeah, so that got me into proper Western music. That's my intro to Western music. I'll say Eric Clapton is my entry point, and
Hmm.
then like everybody does during that age, Green Day, because you gotta start with power chords, right? So you start with
Yeah.
power
Yeah.
chords and keep learning, and then they were I told you, everybody was better than me in my college, so they told me, some guy told me, listen to this, like listen to that Pink Floyd, or the Deep Purple stuff, and then later I discovered about the exams and everything. As I started teaching, got more serious. We can go into as we talk about education, but and the period that you was asking, coming back to your question, that period was 2013-14. Those 2 years,
Okay.
10
Hmm.
hour was a very common time for me. Like it was very usual of me that time to practice for, because I was not going to college. I stopped caring about my engineering that time. Um,
Yes.
yeah, if any of my students who are in school or college are listening to this, do not follow this. Talk to your parents, get proper guidance. This was a risky game I played that time. You should practice, but you can do academics also, students. But yeah, that time, 13, 14, almost 15 also after college, that time I was practicing. 10 hours were very common. Sometimes I remember I've done 14 also, waking up, breakfast, keep playing, eating, playing, and then sleeping. And it was so
So
much fun.
so you, so 2015. You and I met in 2019.
Yeah.
And when we met, you were taking care of me. Like your business and your school was already established.
Yeah, you can say that. It was in a home, so it was a residence come school kind of thing. But yeah, the school was there. There were more than 100 students and teachers and everything. Yeah.
Yeah. So you have, not only are you super determined, but
Yeah.
you work at pace as well. And I know this because, well, since you and I met, we had hoped that we'd play some music together.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it was this year or the end of last year. I can't remember, but I asked
Yes,
if
this
you
year.
would, this year, right? So I asked if you would play on a track for my new album,
Yeah.
and you just did it. Like
Yeah, we
so,
did it.
yeah, and just and because you're working at, you have an amazing attitude for, if you agree to do it, you do it, and that is very impressive because um, that's not true of everybody.
Oh,
Like, but people mean it. They mean it in their heart, but they might not be so organized, or they might not have access to facilities, or
yeah.
there's lots of reasons. But
Yeah.
I was always impressed by by that. And so in 2019, I worked in India for almost 1 month, and my journey began. It was a big trip, like Dubai into Delhi, then all the way down to Bhubaneswar, which was, fantastic. I mean, I went to I went to the ocean, like the Bay of Bengal. I mean, I had an amazing time. And then I took an internal flight to your city.
Yeah.
Met you, and I don't know if you remember, but I was really ill.
Yes.
And I think, by the way, I think it was COVID, because I had every single symptom, even though COVID happened 60 days later.
Correct.
Because this was right at the end of 2019, right? And I can remember being in your school examining, working with music students, being so ill, and you had to take me to a surgery. You remember, you had to take me to see a doctor.
Yeah, we went to see Dr. Ghosh. Yeah.
Yeah. And he said to me, "Look, I know you're ill. I don't know what it is. When do you go back to London?" I said, "Well, next week." He went, "Oh, just do that, then you'll be fine." But I was ill for about 6 months after that.
6 months?
Yeah.
After coming back, you were ill for 6 months, even when you were at home.
Yeah.
Wow.
Thankfully, not seriously, but I couldn't get over it. I couldn't recover. And then, of course, we all went through what we went through, and I had every single symptom of COVID.
Yeah.
And I remember, I had a crazy time in New Delhi. Like, it was, it was. I think that the only way I can describe my time in India is to use the word fantastic.
Yes. I remember we had fun, even though you were sick. We went to zoo and everything. We had a good time, right?
Yeah, it was amazing. Like, but I felt like I was in a different world, And my regret is that I was ill. I couldn't enjoy it as much as I wanted to. But I met you, and that was fantastic. I also wrote a book when I had.
Oh, right.
I had
you
10
have
days.
You have sent me almost all of your books.
Yeah, so the jazz book. Yeah. I wrote that in the hotel in India.
Yeah, you told me you were still writing that time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because I'd got 10 days off, and I wasn't very well, and I didn't know the city very, very, very well. So I remember the hotel had like a rooftop bar.
Yes.
Yeah, and it was beautiful in the day. I could watch the city, and it got like the noise of the city. And I thought, what? I'm just gonna carry on writing this book. So that's where I finished it. So it was an incredible trip. I was not surprised necessarily, but really heartened by not only the quality of the musicianship of the young people, but their attitude as well.
Yeah.
Like they're so blessed and positive around their music that it almost seems to me that it almost helps in their progression. They're enjoying it so much. They're enjoying being around each other so much.
Yeah.
So it fosters the want, the desire to play, to learn.
Yeah.
And I was also taken aback that some of the people that I was working with there would take like 18-hour bus trips to have their exam.
Right.
I mean,
you're talking about other cities in India that you have examined?
Yeah. But
right.
they would.
The whole
they would
experience.
just the whole experience would they would
Yeah.
travel huge times.
Yes.
I don't know about the distance, but like huge, because obviously the country is massive,
Yeah, it is. It is.
and then of course I come to you, and then it's much more of um a centralized business.
Yeah.
And it was really impressive. But like I say to you, like my only regret really is that I was ill.
Yeah.
And I'm still trying to get them to send me back, but we can't.
Yeah. Right.
We can't seem to make it
I
work at the
have
moment.
requested that multiple times. That I want Paul. Paul wants to come here again. Like,
Yeah,
please make it happen and all. But I don't know how it works. Like, I don't know how the process and how to decide who's going where and all. But
yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I spoke with one lady in the office, and she offered me June.
okay.
So, but I couldn't do it. I mean, what I mean by that is uh there's just things that are going on here. I couldn't do June, but
Okay.
I
Oh,
was
I
like,
see.
yeah, I could. Well, I could do, maybe, I don't know, but I will email them again today and say, look, 2026, send me,
Yes. Yeah. Come
you
to
know,
Bhilai, right?
yeah, oh yeah, I mean that'd be amazing because then we could get on
Right.
stage together.
Yeah, we can play that, right? Maybe we can shoot some videos of the songs that we've done, especially
Yeah,
the club
yeah.
sandwich.
Club Sandwich, yeah. So
Uh,
this is a track that's going to be on the second album, which is nearly finished. The whole thing's nearly finished, by the way.
awesome. Awesome.
Yeah, so that track is almost meant to be like a live jam
Yeah,
session, right?
it
Yeah,
is.
and
It
it's
is.
got that feeling, I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and again, I asked you if you would play on it, and you said yes, and within a month, I'd sent you the track, you'd sent some ideas, we'd reviewed it.
Yeah.
Do you remember I changed it? And then you were like, I don't, and so
Yeah.
yeah, but it's back. It's back the way you had planned it, if you know what I mean. Like
The shorter one.
yeah, yeah,
Awesome.
yeah,
Awesome. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe I'm pretty sure the both versions would have been equally good, of course. But maybe because that's what I've been hearing in my head all the time. So
yeah,
you get attached to an idea and all that. But
yeah,
artistically speaking, from my opinion, people are gonna hear it, and I think they're gonna resolve really well in the end. Right?
yeah,
If we say that, right, they're gonna get a perfect cadence in the end, right?
yeah. No, yeah. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, because the way I changed it, um, yeah, it didn't resolve. It kind of left it open at the end, and
Hmm. Yeah.
um, but hey, I mean, I really like it. I've got lots of people performing on that track.
Yes. Oh,
Um,
sorry. When I said the resolution, I think I was referring to the other one. No, this doesn't resolve. This leaves you high there.
yeah, yeah,
Right? That.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah. But I've sent, yeah, you've performed on another one as well.
Oh, that's
But-
nothing. Actually, that's just nothing. It's just
no, but
basic.
you've played some piano on it, which
Oh
is nice.
yeah. Yeah. You could have done it in 2 minutes, just doing something with MIDI. I think that's all that was needed there to support what's already happening, because the track that you sent me for the second track, it was
Mm,
already so huge. I told you, remember, this should go for
yeah,
Dune 3. Send it for Dune 3. Yeah, it was so, like, Hans Zimmer kind of otherworldly, sand and toms, that kind of grand vibe it had.
yeah. I mean, I've said this to many people, and I'm trying to get over it, but I'm always very nervous about other people listening to my music.
Mm.
And because I don't know if it's any good or not. Yeah, what I mean by that is I'm not trying to write something that's good. I'm trying to write something that I enjoy, that I like.
I think that's all it should be about, and that's
Yeah,
exactly what you're doing. And you do not who am I to tell you? You are such a senior, such an incredible musician, and you're just so humble, and you're saying like that. But for those who haven't listened to the first album, please go and listen to the whole album. Listen to Carnival de Mundo and everything. The Pickle song. It's a word class word music album. This
Wow.
is this is my review. It's a anthology one. That's how we pronounce it,
Yes.
right? By
Yeah.
Paul Host. That's a word class word music album, and it's just too with the production, the music, the compositions, the arrangement. Everything is just top notch.
Wow. That means a lot. That means a lot, because um, I, re- I remember sending it to you, and I kind of got one eye open, like, what's what's he gonna think, because you're a serious person. I mean, I knew that from when we met 6 years ago. Like you not only a serious musician, but you're a serious educator, serious businessman, and so I respect you. I hold you in high regard.
Thanks so much.
I send it, and then I can see on the analytics that it's been listened to in India. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, does it show like that?
Oh yeah,
Ah, wow. I
yeah,
didn't know that that's how it works. Wow, amazing.
yeah. So on this world map, I could start seeing popping up India, Brazil, South Korea, Australia, like people, East and West Coast America. People are listening to the music, um, which was amazing, because if you consider, like, I began learning music in the 1980s,
1980s. Wow.
and then decided in the early 90s that I'd like to do it as a career. If you consider that, there was no technology, there was no internet, there was
Of course.
no way of distributing music, and there was certainly no way for me to produce music like that.
And yeah, true.
So
Yeah.
so for now, to be in a position where I can call my friend in India and say, please play on my album, and he says, yeah, sure, and then that's incredible.
We did that in 1 month, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And by the way, it's now literally, I'm just waiting for like a funky keys solo, because what I did, I don't know if you recall, I kind of left gaps in the piece. This is Watsal's bit, this is going to be Anya's bit, this is going to be Dan's bit, this is Steve's bit. Like, do you know what I mean? This is
Yeah.
So when do you remember I sent you the demo and you got my voice on it?
Yeah. That was very helpful actually. Yes.
Was it really? I thought that would just be a pain almost.
Oh no. Remember when you sent me the second track, I asked you, can you send me, a demo like that also for this track?
Yeah.
Right? We didn't need that later. We didn't need that later, but that helped a lot. That because I've never worked like this. I've played my own things. I have played live and composed, but I have not played in anyone else's song like that. So I was
Yeah.
kind of, the director's actor kind of thing. That's why
Mm-hmm.
we had so many meetings, because I wanted to understand what do you want me to do, because there are hundred of different things that I can do there, right? And remember in the beginning, when we had the first video call about that, I played something, and I was playing something sophisticated. I'll say that's the right word, right? Uh, because the song, what I was listening to at that time was very different than how I listened to it later when you explained about.
Yeah. Okay.
I was listening to in terms, like I'm in a recording studio and I'm going to record something like that. But then you referred to one of my Instagram videos, I think, where I was doing some shredding or something like that. So, and then you said, listen to it like that, like it's live, and just let it go.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Because the club sandwich piece is we are jamming in a club.
Yeah.
And so whatever happens on that night happens.
Yeah. Yes.
you know, and it may never happen again. Do you know,
Yeah.
being able to produce this music now is almost like a time capsule.
Hmm.
So if in 20 years time I listen to Club Sandwich again, and I can say, oh, that's Vatsal, that's my friend in India, and do you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like
I
it's
totally
forever.
get it. I totally get it. Yes. Yes.
You know, and if people like it, well, then I'm delighted. I'm absolutely delighted. Um, but it's for us. It's you know, because I've got some lovely photos of us.
Yeah.
You know, but now we're going to have some music.
Yes. Yes. Right.
Yeah.
It's
So
like legacy with nostalgia and all, with music. Like, I understand what you mean by time capsule, you said.
yeah, and
Yeah.
and Carnival de Mundo is heavily influenced um, by my time in India.
That. And any Indian guy who will hear that, they will hear that Indian touch there. It's all over.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. That's a
because
song that I shared my Insta that everybody must listen to. I think my students also listen to it because I shared on my Insta story and all.
yeah,
And that's what made me say that this is a word music album.
yeah, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And they're just stories. All the tracks, they're just stories, and it's the same with the second one. Um, I don't know how like they've kind of lived inside of me for a long time,
Hmm.
you know, and now for one reason or another, I either have the time, the money, the equipment, or and the knowledge, and
Yeah.
whatever it is,
Yeah.
it's kind of, and but also the determination to get on with it, like just do it.
Yes.
Yeah, for a long time it lived in my head, but I didn't have the equipment, the ability. I, th- I
Yeah.
am I am very proud of the production quality.
It is word class, as I said earlier.
Yeah,
It's
well, I'm very grateful to you for saying that. I'm very proud of the sound. You know, like people they compliment on that. Like even like the opening, you know, like the movie studio cinema
yeah.
piece prologue. You know, there's a lot of um, richness in the sound. You know.
It's grand and it's expensive. I mean,
Mm,
not just the money expensive, the sound is expensive. You know what I mean? And I know it
yeah.
is expensive because we can hear that, like there has been that the producer and everyone has done the hard work and the quality work, and they have like invested a lot of money in that. It does sound like that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I would love for you to meet him one day. His name's Dan, Dan Dodson. He and I have a great working relationship in that. But it's going to sound crazy, but we've already plotted like 5 albums,
Wow.
right? And Anthology Volume Two, that Anthology Volume One, Anthology Volume Two, that's kind of one project,
Okay.
right? And you're on that, you know. And then, but there's plans in place already for, because like I said to you, I this stuff's lived in me for a long time, and now I have the studio to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
There's
I need to do it.
there's so much music inside that needs to get
Yeah,
out now. Yeah.
yeah, no, exactly. But Dan was saying to me a couple of weeks ago that um, the hard work was done on Anthology Volume One.
Hmm.
So now we both know how each other works.
Yeah.
He knows what sound I want. He knows, like, you know, he knows what sound quality I want.
Yeah.
And everything, all the hard work was done on the first album. So it's not that the second one is rushed or whatever, but all of the EQ, all of the mastering, it's all there.
Mm.
It's all,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. You have a
So
template. You have a template now.
yeah. So when we consider Club Sandwich, when you you know, when you hear it, um, it's going to have the ambience of being live in a club.
Mhm. Yeah.
You know,
Oh, I see. Oh, all right. Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay. Okay.
so so what he does, right, which is fascinating, is that he creates a 3D visual representation of a room.
Okay.
And when he's mastering and sort of mixing and mastering, he says, well, Watsal's going to be on the left of Paul, slightly in front.
Oh, wow.
The bass player stands to the right of Paul, and he creates like almost like a cinema atmos mix,
All right.
which like people could go and study that. I mean, people do go and study that, right?
Yeah. 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 People do. Yes. 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 Of course.
Yeah. So, but when you listen to it, it's got this kind of space. So if people listen to Carnival de Mundo, basically, when I was working with Dan, I said to him, it doesn't matter how big and how powerful somebody's stereo is, whether it's the car or at home or in a nightclub. This thing has to be massive.
Right. Yes.
You know, like
Yeah.
it has to like and that track, it has to be hypnotic. Like it's got to be. It's just got to take you into another part of the world, right? It's got to. Do you know what I mean? It's got to be a
Yeah.
journey.
That's a very right word. I'll say hypnotic for that
Yeah,
song. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
I'm no, I was of course already excited about the release and everything, but now that you're telling me the way you're gonna produce it and the way the sound's gonna be arranged and all, left right thing, yeah, I'm just really, it's I'm getting goosebumps waiting for the release now.
yeah,
Really excited to listen to the whole album, of course, the Club Sandwich and the whole album. Wow.
yeah, yeah.
When is it releasing? Anthology Volume 2?
I would think September.
September.
Yeah, there's just 2 or 3 more things to do, and then I have to let it go, and then Dan has to go and do his thing.
You are aiming for June or July earlier, right?
Yeah, but there's a
But
couple
these
of
things, yeah.
you know how it is. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah. Right. So we're
yeah,
really
yeah,
excited for the release and everything. Yes.
yeah. Well, I look forward to it. You Here you are now. You own a school. You're an accomplished musician yourself, but you were telling me before we started that you've just become a licentiate
Oh, yeah.
of the London College of Music.
Yeah,
So,
finally.
congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
What was the inspiration? Like, why become a licentiate of a college half the world away? Like, what's that journey for you?
That's very important, I think, uh, and very important in terms of understanding my philosophy of teaching, life, learning, and growth.
Hmm.
Uh, uh, as I said earlier, like the city again, I'll mention. I live in is called Bhilai. It's a it's it's a city in central India and Chhattisgarh state.
Yeah.
And when I started getting into serious music, as I told, I went to some lessons, but I was not getting what I wanted because I kind of knew what I wanted after around 2011 or something, 12, because there was no proper structure of music education, or I'll say Western music education. So people were learning guitar just for fun, just learning some Bollywood songs and all those typical songs, and there was no. It's crazy when we talk about it that there was no one teaching sheet music that time here. No one was teaching staff notation. So no language of
Okay.
music, no sense of harmony. So mostly they were teaching by ear or just writing, in ABCD form. Very, very, very casual approach. Nothing serious. No exams, no structure, nowhere to go. Right.
Yeah.
If you want to do some qualification, you must do in Indian music because we had great universities for that, like
Hmm.
like world class Indian music universities and all. But I was not into that. So So books were my friend, and of course
Right.
YouTube became a friend later when the time came, right? But
Yeah.
I studied a lot from books, how to read. um, and as I started reading more, and I realized that there's no point of learning here anywhere, with all due respect to everyone who has taught me in the beginning. But what I wanted, I was not getting there. So
Yeah.
I followed books. I was able to find the right material because I knew what I wanted again in YouTube. YouTube is the biggest library of content if you know what you need,
That's
right?
really interesting, right?
Right?
Because yeah, because it's very easy to use YouTube well and not so well, right?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
So,
okay.
and so I started like I use I have such a huge collection of books. I think I
Hmm.
have 4 or 5 yearbooks also. The diploma repertoire was the latest one that you sent. I'm a book guy. I love learned a lot from books, and then I. It's a funny story actually. Uh, I have met so many right people at the right time, and everything
Yes,
has led to here right now. But it doesn't happen all the time. You do meet wrong people sometimes,
of
and they
course.
try to to take you somewhere else, right? So I was approached by one guy. This is my first introduction to Western music education, not learning, not just the learning, the assessment and the certification part. And he he just messaged me out of blue that let's form a band or something like that. And he was a senior player than me. He was a much senior player than me that time. And
Yes.
I saw in his profile that it says he studied guitar at Trinity College London. So
Mm.
I said, "What is that?" Because I had no idea. Like nobody had that, because there were no exams in my state at that time at all. So we had no idea what to do about it. We were just learning
Yeah.
casually. And this time, this was not the time when I had already decided that I want to pursue music. It was not that time. It was before than that. It was I think yeah, it was before. So we met and we talked and all and everything, and then he said that I have done some grades, and I said, how did you do it? So he said, I went to the city and Kolkata, Delhi, to do some exams and all. Then time passed. I met him again after a year or so, and now that, I think a year or so, and that time I had decided that I want to pursue music. Then I, of course, I
Yeah.
need certification. So I asked him, how do I do that? Because he was the only one there in my city who had, I think, done it. Not all the grades, but he had done some exams, I think, that time.
Yeah.
Then he said that you're gonna need this kind of guitar, that kind of bigger amp, Boss GX 100 level. That was, I think, 1,000, whatever, some expensive stuff you will need to even appear for that. So that changed everything. I could not afford everything that time. So I just said, yeah, this guy is saying true then, maybe, because he had all those expensive stuff. So I believed him. I believed him that, yeah, maybe you do all need this. A year passed, and then when I contacted Delhi, they told me
Hmm.
how this all works. And it was very naive of me to just not approach directly. But when you have no idea about these, you your mind doesn't work in that straightforward way. Let's If this is, he's saying that, let's approach that, and it doesn't work like that in the beginning, when
Mm.
it's very new to you. And then it started. I think in 2014 or 15 I started doing exams. I used to go to Delhi for that. I
Wow.
studied, yeah, I studied, because I've been studying from books already. So I was able to read and all, not so well, I'll say, but I did studied my own. I used to go to Delhi, so I did my debut, and then of course I understood what it was. Then 3, and then 5, and then 8, like that. So in 2 years, I because I was already able to play. I think when I did debut, I was already playing at 8 level, but I still did like that. So debut 3, 5, 8, I did. So at least I have one
Hmm.
certification from each level: entry level, level 1, 2, and 3. So I used to travel by train that time because I was student. I could not afford flight. So it was fun actually. It was fun. And so 24-hour journey, as you were mentioning earlier, that people used to come, by with long journeys
Yeah.
behind them. So yeah, going there for the exam with my all the gears and all, staying there, doing the exam, and that was the experience, and that's what led me to this goal of doing these exams in my city, because I knew it was fun. Of course, I keep saying that it was fun, but you can guess how much fun it was traveling 24 you know uh, hours,
Yeah.
going back and forth, and then experiencing all the trouble in a different city
Yeah.
where no one is your friend and all, right? It's all
Yeah.
new and nobody cooperates. So that's what I wanted to bring to my city from my side, that we should be starting this year, and students should not have the need to go to Kolkata and Delhi to do these exams, um, and everything should be easier for the people of my state here. That's what I wanted, and that's how we brought the exams here.
Yeah. I mean, just to give some context. I mean, Kolkata. I mean, how far away is that from your? Because I can remember taking a flight from there to your city. 3 hour flight, maybe 2 hour flight.
2 hour flight. There is a 2 hour
Two
flight, and
hour
I think
flight.
Kolkata should be, I think, 1.5 max.
Yeah, yeah. Because I can remember when I came to your city for the first time, I flew in from Kolkata, and it was,
Yeah.
And the reason I'm saying that is because just to give the listeners some idea of like how big the country is, right?
Oh yeah, it is huge. Yes.
So when I visited you, I came in and out from New Delhi, and then I'd have to I took an internal flight to Bhubaneswar, and then Kolkata, and then over to you, and then like it was,
Mm.
yeah, I was
It's
flying
a big
around,
city.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. You had created a not only a business and an appreciation for the education, but a community, which is really important.
Yeah.
You have a music community there. You
Yes.
have
Yes.
which is fantastic. Um, so I understand your desire to bring to bring that system to your city, but you've still carried on, right? I mean, you've recently become a
Oh, sorry.
licentiate.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
I
like,
got distracted with the story. Yeah, right.
no, not at all. But what I mean is like your hunger, your
Oh
desire
yeah.
is still
Yes.
very
Yes.
alive.
Correct. Yes. Yeah. No, but I did get distracted here. So after 8, when I did grade, then of course it was a good thing, yeah, fun thing to do. Yeah, I can say I've done grade 8, and that was that time was the highest level one could think of that time, because
Yeah.
that was I think I was one of the, I think, first 2-3 people, maybe second of, I don't know, uh, one of very few who had done that, and there was no idea and there's no scope of doing what's further, because that time we only knew about one board, TCL, and they didn't have any diplomas after grade 8 in rock and pop music, because I did in rock and pop. I didn't mention that, electric guitar. I still had the diplomas, and that was a very different way of doing diplomas. But that time I had no interaction or no connections with RSL that time. As I've said many times, I keep saying I'm very lucky in terms of the great people that I have met during my whole journey, including you, who has taught me like a lot in those few meetings that we have had. One of the examiners, he had done the diplomas from
Mhm.
LCM,
Yes.
and then from there I got to know about this is what we can do further. And then I think I delayed it for quite a long time, because I did my grade 8 in 2016, and then things happen, life happen, and you
Yeah. Yeah.
focusing on the business and family and different things. But and then different examiners keep coming. Now we are doing rock school exams. This is 2025 now, right? We've been with rock school RSL from 2019. We are doing. You were the first rock school examiner here, by the way, right?
Oh, was I?
You were the first rock school examiner. Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that. Huh.
Yeah. And then all the examiners who kept coming, most of them who were guitarists, they had diplomas from LCM.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Because I think the guitar diploma is really good, the syllabus wise. I can't say about others, but so everybody who was guitar, whose primary instrument was guitar, they had that. Some had done LL, licentiate, some had done fellowship. Last examiner, not last, sorry, actually, it was last year. He had done FLCM. And then we were just talking, I just like to know the stories and everything. Then he started talking about his experience of the fellowship and how he had to set very high standards for him to clear that, because it is all the diplomas are high level, but fellowship is fellowship. So, and that inspired me, and this is the universe telling me that, guy, you should do it now. Everybody's because not just him, the one before him and the one before him, they all had the same, and they all were surprisingly guitar, the guitar was their primary instrument, and that pushed me because I kind of I'm like a student. I'm a teacher, I know, I'm a business person and all, but I'm a student. I always consider myself a student. I will always consider even when I'm 70.
That's really important. That's really important. Do you know that, Yeah.
And not just in terms of learning, but also in terms of deadline. It's a little silly when I think about it, but whenever I have a deadline, I do it better. Whenever I think everybody does it, maybe. Yeah. So
yeah, I agree completely.
Right? So, I've been thinking about doing this since the I think 17, 18, and then I kept delaying it because I was preparing it. It's not like I was not preparing for it, but I was just not pushing it hard. There was no deadline and all, right? Yeah. So I thought it's enough. I have seen another examiner with FLCM now. Let's do it. I was not ready, but I enrolled, and I asked for a date in 3 months. So it's not like I was ready and then I applied. I applied and then I actually got ready and got it done. If I had not applied, ALCM, I'm talking about ALCM in 2023.
Okay, with you.
The associate.
So you became an associate of London College in 23.
23, and bragging about it, becoming the first one to do that in my state again, because this is how it is right now. Yeah, I hope more people do it. I hope I get to guide them to do it properly.
I believe that. Yeah.
Then of course, licentiate was the natural next step, and I have the examiner who introduced me, the brilliant, great guitarist, great teacher, Mr. Gareth Heritage, who's been my guide, my mentor in this journey of the diplomas. So, and now just the day before yesterday, I'm done with the licentiate now. And when you came here, I don't know if you remember the conversations we had. You also motivated me to go for the further qualifications. Because I shared about the different goals and aspirations that I have, and you said diplomas will surely help, and you should do it.
Yeah, it's interesting because I share the belief. I became an associate of Trinity College in 2014, I think. 15, doesn't matter, that kind of time.
Yeah.
That was in teaching, and then I became a licentiate in teaching Trinity College in 16, 17. Yeah, that feels right. I also did performance diplomas with RSL associate licentiate, level 4, level 6, similar time. So I decided to do one in teaching and one in music performance. And I became a fellow of London College of Music.
Yes.
Yeah, I did my FLCM in.
Wow.
Oh yeah, 3 years ago maybe.
Yeah. I think you
Um,
shared the certificate somewhere. I think I saw that. Yeah.
yeah. So and then I'm doing a fellowship in something completely different at the moment, but I'll talk to you about that another time.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's important that we never close our minds,
Yeah.
and it's
Yes.
also important that you look at whichever one's right for you,
Yeah.
because it's all changed now. Genuinely, the world is available to you.
Correct.
If if you think about your story, where you're like Trinity College were there first, and
Yeah.
you had to go to New Delhi and all of that. Well, it's different now, right? You
Yeah.
can actually interact with, but you've got to forge your own path. So I'm delighted. I'm delighted for you that you've done it. Really delighted, and I hope that
Thank you.
you go on to do the fellowship.
Oh yeah, I will. I will. Yes.
Yeah, and I believe you. I absolutely believe that you're going to do that. So yeah, that's exciting.
It is.
Um, but it also helps, doesn't it? It helps show teachers and students that grade 8 is not the end.
Yes.
It's the end of the beginning.
Oh yeah. That's a very good way to put it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like you are highly at grade 8. You are a highly accomplished player, but it's not the end. It's not the end of the story. It can't be.
Yeah. Yeah.
It can't be. And actually, after that, you become an artist. You start to become an artist.
Yeah. Yes.
Um, and if it's important that people don't rush the diploma journey. You have to grow each time. You have to grow. People, not everyone, of course, but some people, they want to jump onto the next thing very quickly. Move on, move on, move on. Well, you need to grow a bit. You need to
Yeah.
listen to more music. You need to play more music. You need to interact with more people.
Yeah.
And then when you're ready, but also you must. I can't advocate enough. And you would expect me to say this because of what I do for a living, but people must have a good teacher, a good mentor.
Of course.
Because at this level, it's too difficult and it's therefore too easy to get it wrong.
Yeah.
So you've
It's
got
it's
to,
too easy to get it wrong. That's so true.
yeah, yeah, because you kind of, there's a big shift, isn't there? Like when you leave the grade system behind and you go into the diploma level, there's a big shift from like a didactical approach, like learn this, to a kind of self-development, reflective journey that's like, okay, then what do I do?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's very different.
That's true.
It's very
I,
different.
I think we should give a little context here because the listeners will also be from this side of it, and not all will be familiar with how these work. So, would you like me to, or would you like to explain about how the grades work? What are grades, and then how does the next level comes?
Yeah, sure. So I mean, grade music exams are a system that was founded in Victorian times. So it's a very kind of it's a progressive system that helps people understand their progress on an instrument. And then the exams are designed to give a reflection, I suppose, on a person's competency on the instrument at that time.
Mm.
So you're doesn't matter whether it doesn't matter at all whether it's debut or grade 8. It's about understanding that person's journey at that time, and of course it's all regulated, and there are parameters in which in which the materials chosen, the technical exercises chosen, and so on. So grade 5, well, no, let me go the other way. Grade 8, sort of RQF level 3. So grade 8, you're into sort of difficulty level of like an A level in music, you know. So grade 4, grade 5, grade 6 into kind of lower to higher GCSE. So RQF level 2. So and then the diplomas that live above them, RQF level 4, sometimes 5, but definitely 4, 6, 7. You're talking at undergraduate and postgraduate level,
Right.
in either, you know, performing arts, music performance, or teaching.
Yeah.
So there is a complete academic journey there. If people want to investigate it. What's nice about the diplomas is that like it just explodes. Like it can be anything you want it to be. It can be any instrument you want to study.
Yes. True.
Same with the teaching aspect. You know, diplomas in teaching performing arts really help people understand pedagogical approaches, forming up lessons, resources, project managing, all of that. Because you can be a wonderful performing musician, but it doesn't mean that you can teach.
Yeah, that's true. So true.
It's not the same skill set.
Correct.
So these systems, they offer structure and progression for creative professionals, but also students, of course, you know, aspiring students. So that's a very, very light context of grade system. It's interesting. Yeah, there's a lot of good people working very hard on these pathways.
Yeah. Yeah.
Including you.
Yes.
Not just doing it, but you now teach them.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's a very important thing to understand here. As for our listeners, I think I would like to say, people keep asking. I'm pretty sure it's the same question in UK also. Why one should do exams, right?
Mm.
And of course, you have talked about this in I think creative practitioner also a little bit about it, and
Yeah.
in the podcast, I'm listening to the whole thing. But keeping everything about the recognition, the value of the qualifications and everything, keep all those things aside. I think as a parent, most most of the parents have no idea what their child is learning generally, because they are not from musical background. And
Mm.
when you go to a music school or a teacher who's preparing them for grades from a recognized governing body, and they're doing well, it's the proof of quality control. It's one of the many proofs of quality control, that what you're doing, where you're teaching your child, is one of the good places that you can send him or her,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? And of course, then it's the quality control, and then you have a clear pathway. When you don't do exams, uh, exams are not for everyone, of course. Not someone who's maybe working a 9 to 5 job and then spending 1 hour learning like that. But for kids, it gives you a clear path. This is where I'm right now, and this is where I want to be in 6 months, and this is where I want to be grade 8 maybe in 4 years. So it gives you a goal to work towards. Otherwise, you are just noodling, improvising in the same key at the same tempo without changing it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a good point. It is a structured pathway. People can access these pathways whenever they want.
Yeah.
And that, which is interesting, because you don't have to be in you don't have to be in a formal school, right? You don't have to be at high school or college or whatever.
Yeah.
It's there for you whenever you want it. And of course it's global. You know, the you and I would not have met if it were not for these,
Absolutely, yeah.
you know, and you know, I spent most of November 2019 just I think it was over rather 250 musicians in my time in India
That you examined?
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a good number. I mean, and that's a huge number to examine also, I think. Right?
Yeah. And I was ill.
All right,
but,
right.
But but I can remember when I got I mean, you know, it's all changed now, but when I got the itinerary and I looked at it and it was such a, you know, it was over 250. I just remember seeing it felt like a mountain. But obviously that's nearly a month's worth, right?
Yeah, because I think you normally assess around 18 students per day.
Something like that.
They have level
depending
1 or 2.
On the level. Yeah, depending on the level, because obviously the exams are like longer or shorter, aren't they? But yeah. And of course, back then, and I say back then, it feels like a different time, but back then everything was paper. Do you remember? I left all the reports with you. Do you remember that?
Yeah. It was sealed, and I didn't see it until it was disclosed.
No, exactly. They were sealed, and you couldn't see. And you had. But what it meant is that I had to carry all those papers around, different flights, different states. You know.
Yeah.
Now it's just completely different.
It's all digital now. Yeah.
Yeah.
But RSL is doing really good in terms of the whole process. It's very smooth with RSL, and you get the results really quick. The video exam or face-to-face results are really quick. It's like most of parents and students that who are doing exams in my state, they are loving RSL exams.
Well, good then. I mean, they'll be delighted. They'll be, you know, because people working very hard all the time to make these things smooth for you and for you as the school owner and the teacher.
Yeah.
For the student and for the parent, you know, there's lots of relationships there. In terms of what's next for you, let's just focus on the music. What are you working on? Do you have anything that's in the pipeline? You know.
Yes. Again, this also you see that the deadline thing, and you need some kind of inspiration, some kind of a nod from someone telling you this is the time, right? My diploma was a time. Right now, business wise, we are running 2 schools here, right? And 2 music schools. When you came, that was at the home, and now we have gone full commercial in 2 different places.
Wow.
You would love the new place. I think I have shared some photos earlier, but music wise, apart from your much anticipated anthology 2, while working on it, I told you I'm working on something, right? Actually, I started working. It's a single. I remember you were telling me that I can go with EP or album, full album, but I think I decided to go with a single now, and it's composed now. Now it's time for me to talk to you on a separate platform about releasing it, actually. And I did play. The song is called "I'm Still Confused Between Two Names." Right now I'm calling it The Third Eye. The Third Eye. It's an instrumental. It's a few people understand differently different when they hear the word fusion. Fusion is just mixture of genres, I'll say. Then it's blend of rock, instrumental rock, EDM, and Indian classical.
Oh wow, blimey! Yeah.
I'll say just EM, maybe not D. Let's remove the dance from it. It's not dance, of course. So electronic rock music, instrumental rock. It will be a guitar-based song, of course. It is a guitar-based song. And right now, apart from my family, only one person has heard it, and that was my examiner who did my LLC, because I played that in that.
Oh wow!
Yeah. Yeah, and he did enjoy that. He mentioned that it was an inspiring piece to listen to. So not getting my hopes high, but it is composed. I think I'm gonna just do a little bit of more polishing here and there,
Hmm.
and the song is done. I plan to release it maybe in July after
Oh
those
wow.
little production. Yeah, but the mixing mastering part is the recording is done. The mixing mastering is not my game, so I'm gonna take your help with that, understanding what to do, from where to get it done and all. But so third, I'll give you a little context of it. This is the first time I'm talking about it. Nobody knows about it.
Yeah.
So third eye is basically actually the third eye of a Hindu god, uh, Shiva. We call
Hmm.
Shivji in Hindi, and Shiva is the normal English term that is used there. So
Yes.
Shivji, when he gets angry, that's in the like history and story of that. When he gets angry, the third eye opens,
Right.
on his forehead, and everything is like destruction and everything like that. End of the world kind of thing. And
Mm.
that is the kind of vibe the song has, like apocalypse and destruction and big fireballs, like that kind of thing. It's not a metal song at all, but that's the kind of vibe it has.
I'm intrigued and fascinated by it because I think that every piece should have a story.
Yes.
Certainly for me, because I can connect with it more, but also if like the music I've written, they are all stories. Otherwise, I don't know what I'm writing about. What am I?
Hmm.
So the context is interesting, and of course now when I'm lucky enough to listen to it,
Hmm.
I will I'll have the context. I'll understand what your journey is, what the journey is of the piece.
Yes, I'll send you some photos, inspired by the song. And
Yeah.
that destruction is not a negative destruction. It's a destruction that was meant to happen. So it will be the beginning of something fresh in the world now, and
Hmm.
you are just a third person watching it happen. It's that kind of uh, vibe it has. Yeah, if I'm putting it
Wow.
the right way. So it is that
So
it's yeah.
and will this become part of a bigger project, or is this just a single?
It is a single. Actually, I'm not sure how I'm gonna place it with the next song. I have another thing in mind, some ideas, but that's very different. It does not it doesn't belong in the same category, I'll say.
Hmm.
It's very very different. Larry Carlton inspired kind of thing. Old, nothing fancy. Not Steve Vai kind of. Steve Vai is my huge inspiration. If I haven't mentioned that, Steve Vai, Joe Satriani. But so that's the next thing that I'm going to do is very different. So I don't think it's gonna be connected to this at all.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's funny as well because I share a similar inspiration. Like Steve Vai is
Mm.
a huge inspiration for me, in terms of not just the guitar, obviously, but the writing, the production.
Wow.
You know, he's his stuff. I mean, I still listen to I still listen to tracks from 30 years ago that he did and think how
Right? How
do you
how
know what I mean?
how did you compose building the church?
Yeah,
You
or
know,
like the riddle.
yeah, and that bad Horsey. What was he thinking? He's actually that he has that kind of personality. That only he can compose bad Horsey. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I
only he
mean,
could.
yeah, yeah.
To I was lucky enough to watch him
So
live.
oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh yeah,
we're in India.
in India. Yes, he's been in India thrice, I think now, and I
Okay.
was very lucky enough to watch him live in Kolkata in 2023, I think. Yes.
What's interesting is when I meet you all this world away, you're sharing similar inspirations, not just musically but ambition. Like this mindset of like
Hmm.
I find it fascinating. because your success is because of, I know you get help, right? Whether it's family, friends, or whatever, emotional support, whatever, but it's because of you.
Yeah.
You know, and you do meet people along the way that you know, like, that's important, and that's important for young people to know as well, because it's not all about the internet.
Oh yeah.
You have to shake somebody's hand and say hi, how are you, and you know, you gotta I don't think that will ever disappear. I hope that never disappears, where, you know, that the importance of the network, you know.
If you will only, actually, one will never realize the losses he or she has had because of not networking.
Yeah. You can only gain, right?
Right? No, I
Yeah.
mean, they will never realize because they never did it. If I hadn't made that phone call, I wouldn't get in touch with the first board. If I hadn't, met those people in a conference, that I wouldn't be doing rock school. If I hadn't met you, I wouldn't have been maybe releasing my own song next month, because that without that, I don't think I would have would be inspired enough to let's just get done with my song now. I played something nice in Paul's song, and it was really fun. And I think this is time to finish that whole thing that I started, right?
Wow.
So I think for me, it's like that. Like everything happens at the right time, with the right person and all. But you can't just sit, on a recliner and wait for things to happen. It will happen only if you keep doing something. Then it happens.
Yes.
The universe will help you if you help yourself. And to help yourself, you gotta move around.
Yeah, you have to keep moving.
Right.
I think that's a great place for us to pause.
Yeah.
And I say pause because I would like to do this again. Like, there's so much to talk about.
There's so much to talk about. We are nowhere there.
Yeah. Well, listen, Vatsal, it's been an absolute pleasure for me to chat with you today.
It's been an absolute pleasure and honor. This is my first podcast ever, so this was a very new thing for me.
Well, you have a big story. You have a lot to say, and I'm looking forward to listening to your music, and I hope that Club Sandwich is the first piece that we do together, not the last. Of
course, right? I'm gonna take your help in one of my songs where I need actual drumming, and yeah,
and let's work hard so that I can come and spend some time with you, and
right. Let's make it happen again.
Yeah, let's figure that out. That would be fantastic.
Right. Again, Paul, thank you so much for having me here. It's an honor, a pleasure, and again, lovely talking to you as always. See you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.